How about the Detroit Lions? I mean, are you serious with that win on Sunday Night Football? We're going to talk about it all here on Verts. My name is Harrison Graham. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Once we reach 5,000 subs, we're giving away a free NFL jersey to one of you. So if you want free and daily NFL and college football content, plus want to enter that drawing, all you got to do is hit that subscribe button. What a weird game. It felt like for about two and a half quarters in the middle of that game, every drive was an interception. Jared Goff threw 5 picks, Stroud threw a couple, and Detroit just keeps plugging away, trails 23-7 at halftime, outscores Houston 19-0 in the second half, and Jake Bates, who was kicking in the UFL this spring, hits a 58-yarder to tie the game with about, 3 minutes left? 4 minutes left? And then hits the game-winning 52-yarder at the buzzer to win the game. I mean, just gut check win for Detroit tonight. Absolute gut check win. Chaotic. I mentioned the turnovers. And, when it got to 23-13, I'm kind of sitting there and I'm like, I think Detroit's going to win this game. They feel like the better team. If Goff just stops turning the ball over, they just got to put a drive or two together. And when it became 23-20 early in the fourth, you're like, oh, it's, Houston's in trouble. They're reeling. They're not moving the ball offensively. Defense is starting to wear down. And that's what happened. And Houston had their chance at 23-all with about a minute 50 left. Yeah, they probably should have gotten that pass interference call. And yet again, late in the game, we're talking about a missed call by the officials, but they didn't get it. And Kymie Fairbairn yanks the 58-yarder wide. Then Detroit gets a couple first downs, and they make their 50-plus yarder. And look, it's a legitimate talking point. Houston has a right to be upset at that one. But at the same time, you pick off Jared Goff 5 times, even if you don't want to call the Hail Mary at the end of the half 4 times, and you can't seal the deal, that's a tough loss for Houston. I mean, to be in position without Nico Collins, who we thought would be back this week, did not get activated tonight. Or he's on the 53, but wasn't active. To let that one slip away, that's a tough one for DeMeco. That's a tough one for CJ Stroud, who's not been playing great football. Once again, 19-33, 232, a touchdown and 2 picks. He needs Nico Collins back in a major way. But that was an opportunity to make a statement and kind of say, hey, yeah, we're still among the elite. We're in that conversation. And after tonight, I do not feel that way. I still think Houston's a playoff team. I still think they're going to win their division kind of by default. Getting Nico Collins back should help. He should be back next week. But it's clear that Detroit is in a whole different level of class than Houston. I mean, if they kept playing, if they played another 2 quarters right now, I think Detroit would win like 17-0. I mean, they just killed them in the second half. Just killed them, despite Goff throwing a couple more picks in the second half. So, just a crazy game. 7 picks between the 2 quarterbacks, 2 of the better ones in the NFL: Jared Goff, CJ Stroud. But Detroit, man, I tweeted this out, and it's true when you watch them play. They have the perfect combination of grit, which Dan Campbell has instilled into this franchise since the day he took over. People made fun of his press conference, including me, for biting kneecaps off. That's what they do. They're physical. They're gritty on both sides of the football. And people aren't giving them enough credit for how this defense is playing, especially with that Aiden Hutchinson. And by the way, the Carlton Davis pickup, huge for this team. Most underrated trade of the offseason. And 2, skill. Not only are they gritty as hell, a lot of teams are gritty, right? Like, they're hard-nosed, they're physical, but maybe they don't have the skill talent, or they don't have the quarterback, or they don't have whatever. They have the skill as well, which is what Ben Johnson brings, which is what Jared Goff with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Jahmyr Gibbs bring, right? Grit is the offensive line, David Montgomery, defensive line, their linebackers, all these guys, Campbell. The skill is Ben Johnson, Goff, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs. They've got it all. And yes, they lost Aiden Hutchinson for the year, but still feels like they're by far the best team in the NFC. I mean, they played pretty bad tonight for a good chunk of this game. and they beat a good team on the road. Like that, I could not be more impressed with Detroit. You should not win a game in which your quarterback throws 5 interceptions. It shouldn't be possible. It should not be possible. And they did. And they didn't just win. They beat a good team on the road in prime time and never flinched. And Jared Goff, fist bumping after that final field goal goes through. It's like he doesn't care about stats. He's trying to win a Super Bowl. It's the one thing he hasn't done. And Jared Goff, with how he's played and how his career has been revitalized and gone to a whole new level in Detroit, if he wins a Super Bowl, we're talking about a guy that could go to the Hall of Fame. That's how quickly his career trajectory has changed and evolved in Detroit. It's just crazy. It's crazy how fit matters. It's crazy how it takes someone or someones to believe in you. I mean, when the Matt Stafford Jared Goff trade went down, Goff in the public eye felt like a throw into Detroit. And what did Detroit say? They said, well, this is not a throw-in. We believe in Jared Goff. And look, maybe they were talking themselves into it a little bit, but we all thought after a year they would just draft a quarterback. And they didn't. They stuck by him. They built the team. I think part of it was, okay, let's build the team for a year or two. And if Goff's the guy, great. If not, then we could go get a new quarterback. And Goff bought himself enough time to show that he can be a franchise guy once again. Which, by the way, this guy was no bum in L.A. It just got a little weird in that last year and a half with him and McVay. McVay clearly wanted to upgrade. And again, it's one of the rare trades where it worked out for both sides, right? Like, even if the Rams do nothing else with Stafford, they got a Super Bowl. So, I don't think they regret it. And for the Lions, they got Jared Goff, who's still, 29 or 30? It's kind of crazy. Feels like he's 35. And he's playing at an all-time high level. He's a leader on this team. He's never played better. This marriage with Ben Johnson, who knows what his future looks like, which is why if you're Detroit, it's like, go win it this year. Feels like this is the year to go do it. It's just awesome, man. It's just awesome. They've clicked all the right buttons. Brad Holmes has done a great job as their GM. And they've done it the right way. They built up the offensive line. They brought in David Montgomery, said, hey, we want your physicality to be a big part of what we do offensively. They draft LaPorta. They just make all these moves. They click all the right buttons, and it's crazy. And I do think it should give fans of bad teams right now hope, because the Detroit Lions, for my entire life until a year and a half, 2 years ago, were an embarrassment. Were a joke. Were the Cleveland Browns of the NFC. And they're, I don't know, it feels like they should be America's team. I mean, you could probably say maybe that's the Chiefs winning 3 Super Bowls out of the last 5, but you get my point. This team is fun to watch. They're well coached. They're physical. They're skilled. Again, that blend of grit and skill, I think they have the best combination of that in the NFL. Like, it was kind of the Niners for a couple years, right? The Chiefs, obviously, they're still the team to beat. They're still the face of the league, but they're not as skilled as Detroit. They're clearly as gritty. They just find ways to win, but they don't have the skill talent Detroit does anymore. Obviously, when they had Tyreek Hill and even younger Sammy Watkins, like, they were as skilled as any team. But younger Travis Kelce, the Chiefs aren't that anymore. They've kind of band-aided their offense. The Lions are skilled and gritty on both sides of the ball. Like, they've got the full package. Now, would I bet on them to beat the Chiefs in a Super Bowl? That'd be tough to do, because, you get Mahomes in one of these big games, like he's the ultimate equalizer, but it's hard to bet against what Detroit's doing. It's hard to not be a believer in this regime led by Dan Campbell. And, I think good teams have great leadership throughout the organization. Brad Holmes, the GM, Dan Campbell, and what he stands for with his physical mindset, aggressive attitude. But then it trickles down. Ben Johnson on the offensive side. People have given Aaron Glenn shit. I think the guy's done a great job this year as the defensive coordinator. Goff at quarterback. They just got dudes everywhere. Not just players, leaders. Guys who want it. Guys who play for one another. You watch them play. Like, this team could have, it's not our, tonight easily could have been one of, it's just not our night. Goff's off. He's throwing picks. Who cares? We lose on the road to the Texans. Like, I would not feel that differently about Detroit if they would have just lost this game like 23-13. Like, they just had a bad night. But I feel even more impressed by their ability to hang in this game and go take it. I mean, this feels like the best win of the season for any team. It really does, because no one would have blamed the Lions, not if they folded, but if they kind of just, faded away in the fourth quarter or something. Like, again, just not our night if you're a Detroit fan. But again, they don't give in. They refuse to lose. Like they're kind of like they're kind of like the Chiefs in that regard. Like, they're trying to win every single game. Like, did you see Mahomes earlier when they blocked Denver's game-winning field goal? If the Chiefs lose to the Broncos there, it's not that big of a deal. They're 8-1. Like, they're in no danger to not win that division. But you can see what it means to those guys. You can see how much they have the will to win. And I see that with Detroit. Like, they're going for the Lombardi. That's what this is all about. And for how quickly they've built it. To me, it started with that win in Green Bay 2 seasons ago in Week 18. They found out before kickoff they were eliminated from playoff contention, but they could still keep the Packers and Aaron Rodgers out on the road in Lambeau in cold conditions. Dan Campbell played to win. He played aggressive. They knocked out Rodgers and the Packers, and they have not looked back. Went to the NFC Championship last year, and this year it feels like they're ready for more. And it's crazy to watch. I never thought the Detroit Lions would look like one of the more competent and just impressive organizations in sports, but that's the beauty of sports. You never know when it's your time, and it feels like it's the Lions' time right now. Are the Lions the best team in the NFL? Even better than the Chiefs? Some would argue that they are. Type Y for yes, type in for no. Let me know in the comments below. My name is Harrison Graham. Again, hit that subscribe button. We'll have you covered on a daily basis here on Verts. More content tomorrow. We'll see what I talk about. Have to wait and see, but we will have more video content. We'll for sure have a Monday Night Football reaction, so stay tuned for that. Until then, enjoy the rest of your night or day, depending on when you're watching this, and we'll talk to you soon.